Welcome back to Birds on Power Lines, and this is another video podcast. And again, if you're listening to us on audio, you can head to our YouTube location, which is Birds on Power Lines podcast, if you want to see us, the video. Other than that, it's great. We're excited that you're listening to us. And this is our second podcast on the Amazon series, The Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power.
Yep.
And we already did one podcast on the first 4 episodes of that series.
Of season 2.
Of season 2. Yeah. And this will be the last 4 episodes. Yeah. And so we kind of want to just get right into that. And if you haven't listened to our podcast before, we always talk about stuff that we're excited about. And it's not that we do reviews. We just talk about what we liked and things like that. And you can take from that what you want.
Things we noticed.
We noticed, things that got us excited. And we usually don't know everything that we're going to say to each other. And this is, even though we watch the thing together. In our last podcast, we were talking about how we were kind of like watching this very quickly because this one's on break. So sometimes some of the episodes kind of get muddled up to us, but I think I got myself straight. I don't know about you.
So one thing that we want to correct from the last podcast.
It's not that we were correcting it, just things that we were.
We
didn't sort out.
We weren't sure. We weren't sure what the difference between Linden and
Eregion.
Eregion.
Right.
So Linden is not the same thing as Eregion. Eregion is the capital type thing of like all the elves and stuff, and that's where
Celebrimbor is.
Linden
is where the High King is.
and Eregion is where Celebrimbor is. Okay.
And it's weird because a lot of the names changed, right?
Which is why it's even more
right. So and there's that, and I don't know if it's like a common.
Peligir is like
becomes Gondor, right? So
it's like
so let's not try to get in the rabbit hole of trying to list all the other ones, but and so there's, and I guess as we go through the different.
Right? No.
Yeah, it's Gondor.
Is Lake Town the same thing as Gondor?
Let's not. Okay, and no, it's not.
Okay,
right? It's not for the record. Okay. It's not. But at least I don't think so. But as you go through, maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know. We're not going to get into that. But as you go through the different ages, some of the names change, and some of them stick. And just like Khazad-dûm is Moria.
No.
Well, Moria, the Mines of Moria, and Khazad-dûm. Anyway, anyhow,
locations are confusing.
All right, let's just let it go for now. And as I was saying it in the first podcast on this season 2 series of the Amazon series. We're Lord of the Rings fans, but it's been many years since I've read, at least over 30 years since I've read some of the other background parts. So we're really just enjoying the series, and we're just not, if you're listening for a critique, a comparison to what's lore and what's not lore, that's not what we're doing here. Okay. So we're not doing that. We're just enjoying the series. And we were discussing that when Amazon got the rights from the Tolkien family, they did not get the rights to all of the other parts, like the Silmarillion and all of these things. So they really were focusing their stories based upon what was coming out in The Lord of the Rings, and particularly trying to align it with Peter Jackson's movies. So that's really what's going on here. And again, like we were saying before, we think they did a fabulous job. They look very much like the Peter Jackson's movies. They're stunningly beautiful, and the music is amazing. And right?
Yeah.
So that all worked. So we're just going to continue with what we were doing before. And we sort of decided ahead of the time that I was going to do the episode first, because we did it the other way around in the last podcast, where they did the episode and then I did it. So I will start. We're starting off with episode 5, right? So that would be Halls of Stone. And again, there's going to be spoilers. So if you haven't watched this series yet, you unless you're fine with spoilers, there will be spoilers. All right. So I'm just going to put that out there. So now with Halls of Stone, now we're kind of seeing what I wrote down, because what was happening in Moria, right? So the the release of all the dark things, right, because of the deep mining and in the Balrog and all of that was happening, and that was shown in the Lord of the Rings, and here you're really seeing the change in Durin's personality during the third. His personality because of wearing the rings, and I really thought that was done well, right? The real personality change, so I enjoyed that. And you can also see Soren taint the ore, right? I'm going to come back to that. Yeah. You don't really know what he did, right? But it went into his hand, and just like we were saying in the last podcast, you're like, like you're screaming because you're seeing what's happening, right? So that was one of those oh my god moments, because it goes right in Soren's hand, so and so but then telling Kellenbrier that these things were manipulated because of his lying to Gil-galad, but that is the master manipulator, right? And because he's like playing off of his, because he knows he did that, that's what Sauron does. He plays off of what's inside of you, and he plays off of that guilt, even though he knows what was going on there. So I'm just wondering when the other dwarves get their rings, right? Because
there's
the
emissaries. The emissaries got.
No, they didn't.
Yes,
remember,
they
no.
The emissaries. They said this is not for you. This is for your kings and stuff.
Right, but they didn't get the rings because Durin was putting a tax on them, and he said if they want the rings, they're going to have to pay up. And we saw the rings in episode 8. They were still sitting there.
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah, no, that's no, they didn't get the rings. So I'm kind of wondering. I guess they don't get their rings until we get another season, because they're literally. And I know we're not on episode 8 yet, but those rings were still sitting next to Durin, and they all looked at them because of what was coming with the other. But we'll get to that, right? So the other dwarves coming in and questioning his right to the throne, right? So they flash to the other rings because they don't have them yet. Then I also put down, it's like too bad about Gil-galad not understanding that Soren was not in Mordor but in Eregion. Because Elrond wanted him to send the army, and he's like, oh, we can't fight in two different places, but everything that they wanted to fight was in Eregion. Did not see Kemen rising to kill Valindir. I didn't see that coming.
Oh, I did.
I know.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming. So I don't know if you're listening to this. Did you see that coming? Yeah. I guess, of course, right? Oh my God, that guy's slimy. So that whole slime with him and Pharazôn really, really, really bothered me. And the stupidity of Isildur's sister. What's her name? Arian. Arian. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Right? Like I just can't. How is it that she's even in the same family? That's what I'm like, because right? Yeah. I just don't. But anyways, but at the same time, like I said in the last podcast, we all know how this is all going to end, right? Because of the Lord of the Rings. So we know how it's all going to end. So it's like a slow moving train to disaster. Yeah. And now you're seeing it unfold. So that's why you're like,
they gotta get rid of Sauron, sort of.
Well,
kind
of. So anyway, so like I was saying before, and what was the other thing I wrote down here? But it really provides that momentum for the interactions that are interesting, right? And what I really liked in terms of that momentum and going back to the interactions between the stranger and the Harfoots. I think that and I still think that even in this episode, it really carried it forward, because you don't know what that story is, right? And I think that is really makes it fun. It sort of brings the unknown into it, and I don't find that frustrating. I just find that a good story, and I really enjoy it. Let me see. Lots of notes. My favorite scene was with during the fourth and Diza. and you know what they were going to do to protect
So standing in front of the mine.
Yeah, I really like that. And you know how he says, "Oh, I love you," after she did which she did. You know, so I really like. So she's got an element of power there, which I really enjoyed, and I just love that interaction at the end because again, given
I like the interaction between those two.
Yeah, and I mean this is all great stuff because you know how the story goes, right? But you don't. But the way they have the interactions and the acting is so good, and so that makes it so pleasurable to watch this, at least from my perspective. Okay, so that was me on episode 5. So you go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So one thing. Oh yeah, did we say Halls of Stone? Did we say that?
Who?
Halls of Stone, the name of the episode?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I said Halls of Stone, but I'll just say that again. This was episode 5, Halls of Stone.
Okay, so one thing that I noticed is we see a lot of the dwarves in this episode, but like just like in particular, like something that has been like bugging me for a little while. Like I was thinking the Chasm Doom theme sounds very familiar, and it is because it is like a very like it's kind of pulled from and inspired by the Howard Shore like composer for the Lord of the Rings. His version of Chasm
Peter
Doom.
Jackson movies.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's the composer.
Yeah.
And also for The Hobbit, I think, as well. But, yeah, so that's, like, the main, like, melodic line is, like, pulled, from the bass line and, like, kind of brought to the forefront of, like, the previous Chasm Doom theme. So it's just, like, I was thinking, like, you know, that sounds really familiar.
See, you're so good at that, because I don't.
And it is, like, it's kind of, like, the rhythm of that is, like, really, it's very similar, and, like, you can kind of, like, if you, like, really listen, like, you can hear it, like, below all the epic chanting of the original one.
Very cool.
Yeah, but, yeah, so that was something I wanted to mention, and, I was thinking it's really sad to see, like, the parallels that are happening between, Elrond and Durin, because, like, Elrond is, like, trying to convince, like, Gil-galad and Galadriel, hey, don't, like, rely on these rings, it's, like, bad, and Durin is trying to convince his own father, hey, don't rely on that ring, it's bad.
Yeah. So,
and it's
you really see that their friendship is because, even though they're you know,
they have their disagreements,
right? They have their disagreements. But, like, they're not the same, but at their core,
like
they really are.
Yeah, they really realize that, like, this is intrinsically and not a good thing. But it's just like really. But
I do worry because Deeza said to him, "Promise me you'll never put on one of those rings."
Yeah,
and he says, "I promise you." And then
that
usually means something he's going to put on.
But I mean, even then we see like later that Elrond does that as well.
Yeah, Elrond puts on a ring.
Yes. Okay, and then another thing that's really frustrating for me this episode, Celebrimbor, like he knows. Like, he was told that, like, the dwarven rings are like, hey, bad stuff is happening with them. Like, he knows that. But then he just makes more rings.
Yeah,
why are you making more rings?
Because he's ensnared, right?
Yes.
He's ensnared, and he's just being manipulated. Now you need to correct what you did with those rings.
Yeah, but, like, if the ones you made already are, like, stuff is going on with them, don't make more. That's not the way to solve it. But apparently it is.
But this is another example of how you're yelling at the TV going, no, don't do that.
That was also very frustrating. And, also Kevin? I don't know. That guy, he is also very annoying.
Pharazôn's son, right?
Yeah, Pharazôn's son. He's also very annoying to me, like, also, like I said, like, Iarian is, like, also kind of, like, just, like, why do you have to be like that? Like,
you know, and the thing is with Kemen, I don't even feel,
like, he doesn't, like,
I don't even feel any sympathy for him. Like, I know his father is sort of putting him up to it.
Him and stuff, but, like, also, I'm sorry, I just don't have to be that much of a jerk.
I just don't feel any sympathy
and
for
like,
that
I saw that, like, Valandra, like, I saw him dying. I did see that coming. Like, do not turn your back on someone, especially in a fantasy series. Like, if you're fighting someone and then you turn your back on them. I think that's because of Star
Wars.
Yeah, don't do that.
It's like that higher ground thing.
Don't do that.
Yeah,
but so I immediately knew, like, oh, that guy's gonna he's gonna die. But, like, that also I was really hoping he wouldn't.
Yeah, what a coward stabbing the guy in the back.
Yeah,
God, really?
But, like, he was literally, like, left him alone. He was like
yeah, he just showed him mercy.
Yeah,
like, I don't.
But anyway, yeah, that
I don't like.
That was that. Yeah, so that's what I was thinking for.
Okay, that's it for number 5.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so then the next episode,
the amount of people in this show that like die and stuff.
Yeah, well,
that I'm like, please
that's
don't,
what happens.
but then they do. It's really high.
All right, so next episode 6, where is he? And of course, where is Sauron? Right, that one was pretty clear as to why they called him that. And I start my first statement here was like, okay, things are getting downright evil now, right? Now we're seeing it, because I think that as Halbrand in the beginnings, when you see Sauron, he's kind of like trying to be sympathetic and and I was like, no, but now he's really getting down and dirty, and like there's the taint is spreading because he's becoming more powerful, right? So you got the taint in Numenor, right, which is, and I mean, I guess he left it there when he was there as Halbrand. He's already started planting his seeds while he was there, right? He did, right? So it's like, and you can see it happening. Remember that was like last season when he was Halbrand, right? Now Annatar, right? Him as Annatar, right? Has completely got Celebrimbor under his control. Like completely, he's hiding the invasion and really shows his power, right? Like really just shows what he can do. Adar, he's going to meet a terrible end, and you like, I'm looking at this. He's going to be betrayed. That's how he's. This is right. I'm just like, that's coming. And Galadriel will, of course, be right about Sauron, right? Totally wanting to be. She's going to be right. That he wants the army, and that's what he's going to get. But how he's going to manipulate them at this point isn't clear. But that comes out pretty quickly. What was the next thing? So up until this point, I always talk about Sauron being patient, right? Thousands of years from now. Now he's not.
Get them down now.
The patience is gone, and I think that's when he really, comes out. So Sauron seems, curiously difficult to kill, right? Which is the weird thing that I and that was the thing that was coming back to me. Like, why is Sauron so difficult to kill? But Morgoth they were able to kill him, and
Morgoth's
he was
dead.
Yeah, he was.
Who
I
killed him?
I have to.
Wait, was it Galadriel?
I don't know. I don't remember that part, but I'm just so surprised that Sauron was the underling and Morgoth was basically a god. He was I guess like one of the Valar. This I know, right? But I can't remember the whole backstory. So if you're listening to this and you want to fill us in, I literally can't remember, and I just don't have the time to go back and figure out how that happened. But that's the one thing that was weird about Sauron. That it's always been something in the back of my mind. So I wrote down, I need to go back and find out how they really defeated Morgoth. I need to find that out. I can't remember.
Yeah, why don't they just do the same thing with Sauron? Yeah,
I don't know. Okay, my favorite part in this episode was when Muriel was under the water facing the sea monster. I just love that. Okay. That whole thing. I know it was CGI, but it was done so well. Yeah. That was great. And then having her come out.
I was a little worried about her because she can't see. Like, how is she supposed to know where the
but she does. Like, I don't know. She seems to. I don't know. Anyways,
it's like she has the force or something.
And then I really enjoyed furthering the plot with the Harfoots and the stores. And the stranger, learning for him, what's going to happen is going to be really important. I think it's going to really come out in the next season. But yeah, I really, 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 I just love that subplot. I think when I look on the internet, I see people are annoyed with it. I'm like, why are you annoyed with it? I really think I really think it's an important way of keeping things going in this series because, like I said, I keep saying we all know how it's all going to go down. Battles and bad stuff happening in this.
So we're like, oh, hey, look,
and you don't really know. I mean, you know when you don't know, and it's a whole. I really, really enjoy it. But anyways, so yeah. Anyways, I think that was it for episode 6 for me.
Okay. There we go. Okay, so I thought it was so just horrifying that Annatar could just fool Celebrimbor so easily.
This playing
that scene when Celebrimbor goes out onto the the front steps of like his workshop, and he looks around and like everything's like fine and stuff.
And does he also go on the balcony in this episode?
No, it was
just on the front steps.
Yeah, but he looks around like that's not real, but like he doesn't know that's not real, and it's like
it was almost too perfect.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking, and I was just thinking like, how is Sauron able to do that? How is Anatar able to do that? And like, because I know like in like I think in episode 8, like Celebrimbor said something about like he didn't have his ruby or something.
Yeah, well, he made a mistake. But...
Right, and okay, that's what that was. Okay,
yeah. I'm going to talk about that.
Okay, yeah, and I just.
But that was an episode. I think that was in episode 7. No, maybe it was in 8. We'll get back to it. Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, and like the fact that like Sauron could just like do like I know like yes like wizard stuff, but like also how can he do that? Like how does he do that? Like I would think like wizard like spell stuff, you know, like staff, whatever. He has nothing. What?
Because I think part of it is because he looks into the person's mind as to what they want.
I guess, but like how is
right?
Anyway.
And I think that's where that strength comes from.
That's kind of crazy, but yeah. So I'm thinking that is like really kind of horrifying, and then another thing I was thinking about was that Muriel like was able to like successfully pass like everything, all these trials that they set before her. Like she passed the steam monster thing and
because she's innocent
and all that stuff. But then it's still like Numenor is still in peril. Like what else does she have to do? To like at first it seems like you know like people are supporting her and stuff. Like the faithful still like are supporting her and stuff. But then things just go downhill even though she passed all of these traditional trial things and like. Yeah, because it's really frustrating. Because like Farazan is trying to abolish all the like, old traditions and stuff. But
and he's playing. He's a politician. He knows exactly how to play his base, right? And that's what he's doing. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess, but also like he's not her brother. He's like her cousin or something.
Yeah.
So, but if he's the direct like daughter of the king, then shouldn't. I feel like that would be like a higher...
I guess the way they work, it's sort of a democracy in a way. Like it's like a monarchy and a democracy, right?
Yeah,
it's sort of,
I guess, but it's just that just was a little bit of like a weird. Like I feel like she just had more of a claim. I mean, she did have more of a claim to the throne than he did. But then also the same thing like we see later is happening like with Durin and stuff. Like people are like challenging like the rulers left and right, and it's a little bit like
well, that's how it works in Middle Earth. I guess. I don't know. You know, I guess, and that's sort of, you know, in if you try to put in the mind of the evil one, right? Like Sauron is thinking that, you know, if he takes supreme control, he'll bring peace, right? That's how he sees what he's doing, right? Because
and also I still don't really
as Celebrimbor reminds him, he lies to himself too, right? So,
but I still don't really know why does Farazan want the like throne? Like it's like I think he was saying to whatever his son's name. He was saying to him like Kemen, he was saying to him like all my life I wanted like the scepter and whatever, like a few episodes ago he was like I wanted like the power and stuff, and now he's like, oh, it's not really. Why did you want it then?
Yeah.
Why do you still have it?
I think he's just trying to make himself look more humble.
I guess. I don't know, but like
you know, and the whole thing that
I just don't know what he wants to do. I don't understand.
He accuses her of looking into the the Palantir, and then what's the first thing he does? He looks into the Palantir.
So like, I just don't really know like what his motives are. I guess like he wants like more wealth or something, but like
he wants power.
But like
that's what he wants.
It's just I don't really know. Like, why is he doing... Like, what is the motivation behind doing this?
That's the motivation.
Okay, well, that's kind of boring. But,
well,
anyway.
That's how a lot of people are. They want power. You just look around what goes on in the world right now, right? That's how people are. They're corruptible, right?
Yeah. Anyway. Yes, that was all I had for this episode.
Okay, that's it? Yep. All right, so Doomed to Die.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you know, as I was going through this, I was thinking about who's going to die in this episode, and all the people that I thought were going to die didn't die.
Who died in this episode?
Exactly. So I'm like, I guess it's sort of like Doomed to Die would be like foreshadowing. I guess that's really what's happening.
Yeah, I guess I remember.
I think that's really where this came from.
No one died in this episode.
Yeah.
No one important.
Oh,
I don't think.
Well, and that's the thing about the no.
No,
I went back and I looked. Okay. I mean, lots of people died.
Yeah, but
not the people
no one
that you're thinking
care
about. So so that's kind of, anyhow, and I think that's why for me episode 7 and 8 are hard to separate, because there's a lot of
it's kind of like part 2 type thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like, in anyways. So I think, anyways. So anyway, like as I said, we know how things are going to go. I put I'm just putting here, though not many deaths in this episode. Right? Celebrimbor, oh dear. I literally, oh dear. Yeah. It's like being caught in the Matrix, right? It's like he starts to see the loop, and he's like, wait a minute. Right? There's something going on, and it was the mouse, right? So the mouse, you can see the loop, starts to see the repetition, and you can see he's starting to like making sure that he's not imagining it.
Hello, Mr. Mouse, and then he's like, wait
a minute, right? And then all the things that he's doing to mark time, to see that he's got all the time in the world, right? So he knows, right? And then
the mirror, he looks in the mirror and he's like, oh wait, huh?
That. Yeah. And then I actually wrote a comment about that. You see how he looks in the mirror and you realize that he's not been rested. There's just no way. Sauron's not letting him rest. So that comes back, like, Sauron knows he's running out of time. He needs these rings. And that whole thing, and like I had in the other episode, like I didn't mention it. Where did he get the mithril from, right? And then it's like, now we know.
I was thinking he like stole some from the dwarves.
Well, that was the most logical thing.
That's what I was thinking.
I was thinking they would have shown.
I guess,
think so. Yeah. It would have been almost impossible to do that because they were guarding the mine. So I was like, where did he get that from? And I was like, not mithril.
Yeah. I did not come to that conclusion.
So
I did not think that, but
no, I because it's the answer in this episode. So it's like, well, and then there's no hope for men, right? I mean, you got like basically Sauron in there. So there we go. I actually didn't reveal that spoiler as to what that is, so just in case, don't want to tell you. So then. But you're still not sure what he added to the dwarves ones. Like, he held it.
He held it, yeah.
But you don't know what he actually added. So I don't know if it was just his magic.
Did he corrupt the elven ones? Yes.
He did in a way.
But like,
because...
But they're not suffering like the weird effects quite as badly as the dwarves are.
No, but there's something about them because it's all in his plan, right? Yeah. So he started it, and he was in the shop when they were doing this. So you don't really know, but he had his intentions are in there. I don't know how it worked and exactly what he did to the dwarves one, but you actually saw him hold it. You know? So he might not actually have to add something physical, but he literally. Physically added himself to the men's ring, so that's creepy. Like that's really creepy. You're done, right? Yeah. So so I said he took the mithril in his hands before he added it to the mix. But anyways, then seeing how Celebrimbor looks in the mirror, you really can see that Sauron has not let him rest. But the one thing that I couldn't watch was how Celebrimbor got out of the workshop. Like I couldn't watch that. Yeah. That whole thing, you see him looking at the tool, and it's like, how this is going, because at this point he's in his shackles and he's got to get out. I couldn't watch that. Yeah, actually, did they actually show it? Because
they didn't.
I actually did not look at the screen. I just was like, I can't see him doing it.
There's no way.
Okay, I just like that was just too much.
That's actually a pretty common thing in I know I was like reading like a different fantasy book series that. Like it was like kind of a similar situation. Like the character was in like
had to do something physically to get out.
But in this case, like broke the fingers, but like not like slice the finger off,
the thumb off. Yeah. So that was that. I did love the whole thing with the dwarves. I loved during the fourth speech. I just love that whole thing. And at the end of the episode, I kept thinking he's still going to figure out a way to
delay the dwarves or
deal with his dad and be there for Elrond. I was
hoping he would, but
I was like, he's got to figure this out. He's got to figure this out. He's going to figure it out, right? But then if I think back to my lore, I think that he doesn't make it there. So that was kind of the thing there. And that whole thing with Arondir, I love that character. And I didn't see that coming. That whole stabbing with
I'll talk about that.
But I'm at the end.
I'll talk about that. But
Adar is going to be completely betrayed. You know it's coming. So, but then that whole thing with. Well, I'll talk about it episode 8 when we do episode 8. But at the end of episode 7, that metal theme. I did not. That was like one of the few times that I actually noticed the music. I was just like, "What?"
They changed it at episode 6 as well. I think.
I didn't. I don't like. I hear the music, but to me, music is really sort of the background. I don't hear the music like you do. But yeah, I was like, "Wow, that's cool." So we have that metal theme at the end of episode 7, and with the orc. Yeah, so I'll let you go right into that. I like that.
Okay, well, I'll talk about that after I talk about my thoughts.
Okay, we'll come back to it.
So, Doomed to Die, I was like, I thought I was like already we're gonna start the episode, and I was like, oh, that's not good. That's not
the title's like.
But actually, I kind of forgot about that as the episode went on because no one actually died. But
I actually tried to remember who actually who named characters actually died in that episode.
No, well, I mean, like a few but
not like the things the people that are gonna die. They don't die in that episode.
Anyway, and then I was just like, this is crazy psychological torture going on with Celebrimbor, and it just gets worse in episode 8. But it was just really you can see him and the fact that I think it was in this episode he got out, and then someone was Anatar was he's lost his mind and stuff but they're so quick to just turn on him, and I'm like.
Yeah, because they're all under his influence. Yeah, once you've interacted with him, you're done.
Yeah, but
you're literally done, and that's basically, and that comes out more and more as you go through. As soon as you've interacted with him once, you're finished.
Yeah, and then it was in this episode that he got out and he got to the wall and he saw everything, or no? Yeah, and he got to the wall, but then someone literally pushed what's her name?
The apprentice. I can't think of her name right now either. But
he literally pushed her over. He
literally after he said, "Oh, well, your loyalty, you'll remember that. You'll be rewarded."
That was oh my gosh.
My God,
that was completely ruthless. And he made because Celebrimbor didn't technically
you saw the flinch and he put me. Oh my God! And then Celebrimbor thinks that he did that.
He did that, but he didn't, and everyone else thinks that he did that, but he didn't, and it was that was really excruciating.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah,
I guess that's the one that was doomed to die.
Oh yeah, maybe I guess. But
no, they were all doomed.
Yeah, I guess. But it was just that was this whole what the whole thing is going on to Celebrimbor. I just feel worse and worse for him because he kind of it wasn't
if you
his
think about
fault.
it. No.
Someone's trying to make him think that you wanted this, it was your fault, you asked for this, but not really.
Well, that's what they
he
do.
wanted to do something great.
Is that the definition of a narcissist? The bad things that happen. He convinces you that you're the reason that it's happening.
I think it's a gaslighter. But
gaslit.
But I just feel really so bad for him because he just wanted to do something really good and help people and stuff, and then but he gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And he's the fact that his pride, he's I'm the greatest elf and stuff, whatever. But I need to do something to top my previous achievements and stuff. But
it's and then at the end, all of it is lost.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And
anyways.
And you can see he Celebrimbor definitely cares about Eregion. He cares that this is happening to his city, and it's
it's his city.
Because it's his city. He made the city. He built. And it's just really really sad to watch that. So it's. And then I was gonna say Durin's speech about elven loyalty and stuff. He's forced to choose between his home and his friends and his loyalty. So kind of the
thing. You mean dwarven loyalty?
Yeah, dwarven loyalty. Yeah, that's what I said. Right?
I thought you said elven. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Okay. Anyway, so it's just interesting because technically you can be loyal to both things. You can be loyal to your home and your family and stuff, but also to the your promises friends. You've made, and it's really it's really difficult for him to choose between because he literally can't do both.
Yeah,
and he couldn't figure out a way to do both. That either you go and fight and you don't have a home to come back to, or you keep make sure your home is safe and might not get to the fight in time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was also really kind of frustrating to watch.
At the end.
Yeah, and then I thought Arondir died, and I was really mad. Like, I was really angry. I thought he died.
Yeah.
Like, I thought him get stabbed. Like, he barely made a mark on Aron, and I was like, I felt really, like, I was really angry. I was very angry. Like,
well, at the end of episode 7, you think he is dead.
Yeah, because you think he's dead. And, like, you know,
I'm going to come back to that.
Yeah, and I was thinking, like, you know, like, I was thinking poor, like, Theo, because, like, first he lost his mom.
Said.
Like, first he lost, like, his dad. Then he lost his mom. Then he basically lost his village, and he had to go to a new village, and then, like, he finally made peace with the guy who was trying to be his, like, stepdad, kind of. Then he dies. Yeah. And so it's like,
and then what did I say? Who's going to look after the forest? Who made a promise to the ants?
He made a promise to the ants. I like the ants too.
I love the ants.
Different episode, but yeah, and then we do finally see Elrond and Durin, like for the first time this season. We finally see them interacting, which is nice because like I miss seeing them interact. They're funny. Yeah. They're funny together. And then like at the end, like the sun comes out like right before like all the big fighting stuff happens, right?
I don't remember that.
I think so, right? The sun like comes out, and then like Adam's like, yeah, let's go.
Oh yeah, because you were saying how is it?
Yeah, how is it that the orcs can be out in the day? Because I thought that they weren't in the sun, so that's the one thing I was like a little bit confused about.
Yeah, I'm not sure because they.
Because that's like the whole point of Mount Doom erupting. So that
there's a thing there, and I have to. Yeah, I don't fully understand that.
But I was just a little bit confused about that because I thought orcs burned up in the sun, or like they turned to stone the sun and stuff.
No, you're thinking of those trolls.
Trolls. Oh, okay. Well, but there was some reason that they needed Mount Doom to erupt so that like they can't be out.
they prefer the darkness.
Okay.
But I don't know. Like I can't remember all of that connection. But yeah, but you're right. But that's why Mount Doom, right?
Yeah. But and then was it in no, actually it wasn't in this. No, sorry, I wrote something down. Actually, there's a completely different episode. That was like I should have said that.
Gonna go back to it?
No, I should have said it like last podcast. Never mind.
No, we can talk about it.
Oh, well, yeah, because I was looking at the soundtrack and for some reason I was thinking that the one song that like Gil-galad was like singing.
Yes.
It was like all the way like in the first episode or something, right?
Okay.
Or something.
But what about it?
I don't know. Like, I just thought it was really nice. I liked it.
Okay. Well, so that's the thing. The music is great.
And then there was one. I think it was in episode 6. Like the ending. They changed the ending song for that, and it was like more of like a folk type song. I
didn't pay attention. It was the metal thing at the end that really got my attention.
Yeah, but
and you were saying something about it being dark metal or something like that.
I was wrong. That's not right. And yeah, I was actually thinking. Oh yeah, there we go.
I don't even know what this is. I don't know enough.
We're gonna talk about that.
But definitely metal.
Yeah,
and we got the full on. It was orc, right? I think it was orc.
No, it wasn't. It was actually English.
It was?
It was called The Last Battle, or The Last Ballad of Damwell.
That tells you a lot about how much I listen.
That big like mountain troll guy that like was going. It was based.
Oh, you looked this up?
Yeah, I looked this up.
Okay, yeah, I have to look it up. We should try and listen to it. I'm sure it's somewhere on the internet.
Yeah, no, but it's actually all in. Yeah, it is. I found it.
Oh, so you actually looked?
Yeah,
okay.
I looked it up. So actually, yeah, it's actually all in English. I was thinking when I was listening, and this is a very common thing. Like I was looking at like the comments and stuff. A lot of people were thinking it was black speech, but it wasn't actually. It was normal English. Yeah.
I'm not crazy then.
No, yeah, I thought it was too, but no, it was just normal English.
I guess, but that makes it even more clever, right?
Yeah, but actually, it seems that this was released before, like, this episode was released. The song was released before the episode was released, and people were like, I don't know this. I don't really like this because I don't think it's gonna fit within.
Yeah, but it
did. But I think what they were doing, what Bear McCreary was doing like during the battle was like like during the actual show itself was like a more orchestral, minus the vocals arrangement of that.
Yeah.
But then at the end, for the ending theme, he put in the one with the vocals, which is the vocals were from lead singer of a Swedish metal band that I'm not even going to try to pronounce. but yeah. So no, it was not black speech. It was just normal English.
But I
liked it.
I think metal is really, really popular in Europe right now. I really
Yeah,
I'm thinking about the Olympics, and they had wasn't
like
that it was a metal band
or something like that
in the opening ceremonies as well. Like, not that it's not popular
and
where we're at.
One more thing I wanted to mention about that I forgot with the soundtracks insert on it's actually Howard Shore did the opening theme. Like, he's the one who did the music for all of the other everything else, but Bear McCreary did everything else in the show. But Howard Shore did the opening theme, which was
for the Amazon series.
Yeah, for the show.
Oh, okay. But he also did the music for
the Hobbit and for the Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I think it was for the Hobbit as well. I know it was for the Lord of the Rings. I think it was also for the Hobbit. But
I would imagine with Peter Jackson would want that.
Probably. Okay. Anyway, yeah, that was that was it.
That's it for.
That was it. That was a lot of things, but that was it. Yeah.
All right. So now I'm starting with episode 8, our last zinger here.
Yeah.
Shadow and Flame. There's a lot going on in this episode. I almost think that you could have done it in 2. I mean,
maybe not quite. It was
like
an hour and 13 minutes long, so like.
Oh, it was longer.
Yeah, it was
but
longer.
I mean, if you compare that to the pacing of the other 7 episodes,
it's definitely much faster paced.
There was like, what is going on? Like, so
People
there's a lot
dying left and right,
and you're going from here to here, and so there was a lot going on. I'm not complaining about that. I just feel like, compared to the other episodes, this was really active. So I actually right. So much is going on here. Almost could have made that into 2 episodes. So here, what do I have on the side here? Oh yes, here's where we have our deaths. I said a lot of death. So back to the dwarves. Based on Elrond's disappointment, I felt that you really needed to see, really have a legit reason for Durin the Fourth not to show up, right? And you got it, right? So you got that whole thing, the death of Durin the Third, and I really had to go back because I thought this was all in one episode. But anyways, I really, really liked how they did that. I liked that he took off the ring.
Yeah.
I liked how they had that moment.
I never let you win. I never let you lift your arm. You getting stronger. That was.
You were just getting stronger. I just love that. And in his fight with the Balrog, and he let Durin know that he wanted him to be king.
At least Durin the Third did not die being a jerk to his son.
Yes, and that was satisfying.
Nice,
So this really was serious stuff going on. So and then he still managed to get there. He got there late. He wasn't there, but the army did get there. But I don't know what happened to Durin the Third's ring. You saw him take it off, but
no, we saw it. We see it at the end. It's like in the cinder with all the other rings.
See, I told you that there was. Oh.
Well, I just saw that ring because it's
noticed the other ring.
I just thought it was bright blue.
So I guess he did. I couldn't remember if
he took it.
If Durin the Third's ring was there.
He should have left it there, but.
Because everything at the end just got thrown out, right? Yeah. When the Balrog got sealed back in there. So
I'm not sure how he got it, but anyway.
So it's there, but you noticed.
I noticed
Durin's rings,
because
but not the other rings,
because it's like a bright blue stone.
I saw all the other dwarven rings. Isn't that funny? How I saw the other dwarven rings, and you saw Durin's ring. So that explains that. So so at the end, all of those rings are together on sort of that is that like a DS or whatever. Platform
ring holder,
sort of all sprayed out there. So you saw Durin's ring, which I didn't see, but I saw
so
that all of the. I just assumed that his ring didn't get out. So they're all there.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the other thing, I always take so many notes. Peligir, Gondor. All right, so this whole thing with Isildur's love for Estrid. But wow, the sliminess of Kemen is coming right back out.
And also, one thing I was thinking, how far away is Numenor from?
They're across the whatever sea there.
Yeah, but like how long does it take to get there?
I don't know. Time doesn't mean anything in the Amazon series, right? So they condense thousands of years into like 2 weeks. So this whole thing, I just wanted to see more of Isildur's motivation for going back to Numenor, because he knows that his father is an outcast. Yeah. He knows that his father's been named a traitor, so why is he going back there? Yeah. And he knows the queen is gone, so why are we going back there?
Because he thinks he can help.
But we do know, and my big concern is that Kremen is not going to be there when Numenor is destroyed. Because now he's over in Gondor, right? Or in Peligir.
No, I think, did he go back on the ship?
No, he didn't.
He didn't?
No, he didn't, because he's there trying to make an outpost. He didn't go back on the ship. So Isildur goes back on the ship. He's going to survive because lore. Yeah. That part of the lore, that he's going to survive. Mm-hmm. But so what I'm imagining is that Isildur and Kemen are going to have a showdown at the end.
Yeah, they better.
And how that's going to
end. I really hope they do.
This is what I'm predicting for season 3. Or whenever that,
and then because it's probably going to be,
because Kemen is going to say, well, I should be king because my father was king, and there's going to be, I was just sort of predicting that, and who's going to win that. Mm-hmm. So I just want that guy to get his just desserts. I'm sorry, I just feel that way.
It's annoying.
I don't know.
To be annoying.
And it really bugs me that no one questions why Pharazôn could even imagine that Muriel could possibly be in league with Sauron.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense.
He's looking at the thing and he's misinterpreting stuff, right? So maybe he's the one that's in league with Sauron because he's the one that's watching the stupid thing now, right? I mean, nobody questions that, and that really, really bugs me. Really bugs me. Mm-hmm. And then going back to Celebrimbor, Celebrimbor. What did I say?
Celebrimbor?
I don't know what I was saying. Celebrimbor. Yes. So now the torture. Okay, so because he doesn't have the rings. He doesn't have the rings of men. He gave them to Galadriel. And now he's trying to get them back. And he says, "You're going to bring them to me." And he's like, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not." So I think that it's good that in the end he's freed. He's freed himself. Yeah. And I just, having to watch the torture that he's going through, just you brought this on yourself. It's like, I shot a bunch of arrows into my own body.
He goes in there with a bunch of his guards and stuff. And they all that was.
You see how he's. Really, anyways, but I just loved how he tells Sauron at the end that he's going to be the one that's enslaved by the rings, and he's predicting that he's going to be eliminated by one. And of course, Sauron doesn't want to believe that, but but we all know that's true. But but I just loved how that played out.
The name drop of the series.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, the name drop. So you are the Lord of the Rings, and you are the one that's actually enslaved by them. Yeah. And I just love that. I just thought that was great. Mm-hmm. And then going on, we talked about Isildur. Loved that Durin the Fourth's now army has backed up at the end. And that Elrond understands that it must have been something serious because the commander said that he's mourning. The king is mourning the death of his father. So he knows that Durin is now king and that it must have been something pretty bad. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to talk much about the battle between Galadriel and Sauron. That was good. That was good. That was good. But how the heck did Arondir survive that stabbing by Adar?
Elf. Stuff.
That's where I had a question at the end. It's just like,
there he is. I was glad he survived.
Yeah, good. You and I think we're on the same page. I am good that he's there.
We didn't see him die. We did not see his head slump and his eyes close. We just saw him fall to the ground.
Right. So I guess that's not enough.
We just saw him fall to the ground.
You're not really dead.
He didn't actually.
So he didn't. Yeah. So he didn't. So but I'm fine with that. Mm-hmm. I'm good. But that was the question that I had at the end. And then Elrond using Nenya, right? Mm-hmm. Galadriel's ring, because he doesn't have Gil-galad's ring yet, because Gil-galad's still alive. Yeah. So he used the rings to make that safe space, which I think is going to be Rivendell. Looks like Rivendell to me. Yeah. And that's going to be his home. Mm-hmm. Anyways, and then, of course, we have a little bit going on. I just loved Grand Elf.
Yeah, I was going to say that too.
Grand Elf. Brilliant. I just love that. Tom Bombadil and I think they should have, in a way, just ended with them singing, Gandalf and Tom Bombadil singing. at the end, but then we got
Oh
the
no,
rest.
but we needed a little.
Yeah, I guess, but
yeah.
I maybe switch that around and then end with that. Like, I don't know, but it again, not complaining, but I just felt it was over when they were singing the Tom Bombadil song. But yeah, I just it was good. I'm good. I really enjoyed it.
I think they could have ended with like the whole like all elves and Rivendell, because like they cut to black, so I was thinking like, oh, that's the end, but no.
Yeah. So there's a couple. This is why in a way I felt like in a way it could have been like 2 episodes, but and I think I read someplace that Amazon wanted to do 12 episodes, but they were or the makers wanted they wanted to do 12, or maybe that was last season. I think they wanted to do 12s, and then Amazon said no, you're going to do 8s. Right. So I feel like
I just feel like that'd be more like fitting, like because like 8 versus 12 or 6 or something like that, because like like the whole thing with like the rings of power is like it's 3 and 6 and 9.
Yeah, don't start doing math on me.
I don't know. I just feel like that would have worked.
So that was my thought on episodes. My thoughts on episode 8. So you go ahead.
Okay. Where is it? There it is.
You've got such tiny writing.
On, I'm trying to.
So, thinking about how we do this, we start, making notes to talk to each other about stuff. Okay, you got it.
Yeah, right. I was just trying to find where it was. Okay, I was just thinking, what is Durin going to do with that ring? Like, because I have a feeling.
Yeah, I just hope he's not going to put it on.
I think he's going to put it on.
I can't remember if he puts it on.
I think he's going to put it on. I think
I can't remember if
because it's literally right there, and like I feel like that would just be such like a thing.
Well, because they're all looking at the rings at the end, right?
Yeah. So like either he's gonna put on the ring, or someone's gonna kill him for the ring, or something. Because he has kids, and we know that like Thorin is like the descendant of Durin.
Yeah.
So, but he has kids now, so like he could die at any time, and it's like a little bit stressful. I'm like, I don't really know what's gonna happen with him. And also, who is the Dark Wizard? Who is he?
Yeah, we don't know.
Who is that guy?
We don't know. Like I said, in our last podcast, I was thinking maybe he's Saruman, but I know Saruman was good, right?
Yeah.
In the battle.
He was
like
So
I don't know. So this is another wizard.
Who is this guy? What is he doing? And
it could be a new character, maybe. Because, like I said, they couldn't go back to the actual source material.
The thing is, I'm trying to figure out if he was like lying. Like, did he actually know Gandalf? And also, like, is he actually not a Dark Wizard? Or is he actually
he's a
dark?
He's a dark.
Is he?
I
I was trying to figure out like what he's trying to do, because like he says he wants to like get rid of Sauron and stuff, but also like Gandalf is thinking he wants to ally himself with Sauron, and like what is he? What?
Yeah,
this guy.
See that we still have a mystery.
We need to know what this guy is doing, and also we never figured out what the Gaudrim were.
No.
Like we know that like they're mortal or something, like because like they can die.
Yeah.
And like they
so bleed. I mean, I think we're gonna get. But I thinking about that, he was how. You're talking about those people with the masks, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. So I didn't know that's what they were called. Yeah, but I think so. There was a part in a scene here where he was saying that they were kings, right?
Was he?
Yeah, there was a thing where they used to have their own kingdoms or whatever, and somehow so there's something going on there, and I think so I think this guy's bad. Yeah, he's definitely bad.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he's got like a scary like red stone in his staff. Looks
he's
bad.
just not as good at being bad.
that looks bad. But and also I wanted to Gandalf.
Yeah,
that was funny.
It's like Grandel. Thank you, Grandel.
Yeah. And I was just like thinking, so Pharazôn uses the Palantir. He uses it.
Yeah,
and, like,
that's what. Yeah, exactly.
Everyone distrusts Muriel like so easily because like she uses stuff, and it's just so frustrating.
Because they're thinking he doesn't use it.
But he does. Like that's literally the first thing he does. And,
but that's how he. Yeah.
Like
I was saying before.
And I was thinking, yay, Arendir's still alive. That's good. But I do still feel bad for like everyone in Pelagir because they're losing their home that like they literally just got. They literally just got them. And
now they're being treated like crap.
Yeah.
By Kemen.
Yeah, and then I'm still trying to figure out who is Theo. Like, what is his
I don't know, but he's gonna have a role to play.
Definitely.
I don't read stuff on the internet, but while I was going back to try and make sure I was straight between what happened in episode 7 and episode 8, I see that there's I got the impression that people are trying to.
Yeah, because I'm trying to
predict what Theo's role is going to be.
He had a much bigger role like last season. Like he definitely clearly like he had like that like sword that like it's scary.
Yeah.
It eats blood and
he shouldn't
stuff.
have done that. But
and
anyways,
it's like he's clearly like it has the potential to like something really bad potential.
he can do something bad, and he can also do something
but also
good.
now like he's like accepting this role as like the village like they're the town like healer and stuff. So like I'm still trying to figure out what's going on with him. But we don't really see as much like with him.
No,
season,
but there is a discussion. There seems to be a discussion online about Theo.
About that, okay.
But
yeah.
I don't want to be influenced by that right now.
Okay.
You know, while we're doing our podcast, and I'll start looking
Fair
at
enough.
what other people are doing afterwards.
And then, so I liked also that like big fight between like Galadriel and Sauron. But like the one thing I noticed, she faced him alone, even though multiple people specifically told her do not face this guy alone. Like Elrond said, don't. I think Elrond said don't face him alone. Gil-galad literally said don't.
I don't think she had a choice in the matter. It just happened that way.
It just like and then again like, is that something he planned? Like did he plan that? But then also she like dove off the cliff with her ring and stuff.
Because that's the only way she was going to get it away from him.
He clearly was not suspecting that, but then now he has like the 10 moral rings, which is what he wanted all along. Which, that's already
and poor Adar.
And then I think
I have a feeling he might have even known that was coming because he was wearing Galadriel's ring when Nenya, right?
Yeah.
So he might even have known.
Her. Yeah, but then I was thinking that's like a interesting parallel between like what happened with Sauron and what happened with Adar. Like literally the exact same like camera angles, like we see like
that
from
was
his
well
perspective,
done, right?
All the orcs like stabbing him and all that stuff, and like the fact that the head orc guy.
Oh yeah, and then
literally like was like the last one who stabbed him, and then he died too.
Yeah, at the hand of Sauron, right?
Yeah.
He just, because Sauron doesn't want anyone that's not fully.
Yeah, but I really did kind of feel bad for Adar because like
so I felt bad for him too.
Yes, he was like kind of going about it, kind of not in the, like the greatest way, like to Adar to like go and like to try and like have a home for
well, he was doing what he had.
He was doing what he thought he had to do, and like it might not have been like the best way to go about it, but like he was still trying, and it was from a place of like he really does like care. For
like I think at the heart of it, the one who was the most genuine was him. Yeah, his character. You knew what he was about. Yeah. He followed through all the way at the end. You know, and I think I said in the last podcast that I get it. I get what he's doing. I do. Yeah. You know. So
so that was
that's it.
Yeah, that was it.
So so I guess that's it. That's it for this podcast. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. So just to close, this was the end of our second podcast on the season 2 Rings of Power, the Amazon series for the Lord of the Rings. And we hope you enjoyed listening. If you have any ideas or other thoughts, think places that we're completely wrong on our lore, please let us know. And what we're going to do next, I don't know, we have a few things in the works.
Yep.
Or ideas that we're working on.
Look forward to that.
Yeah, so look forward to other things coming up. And I guess as we usually close, we want to thank you for listening and being part of the Birds on Power Lines podcast.